All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Hefner. I'm here with Yashana Nowak, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right. I asked Yashana to help lead tonight because she is such a consistent attender on book club and team calls, and she is
Mhm.
just such a light. She's super knowledgeable. She's very good at studying what we're doing in the books and the team calls and putting it into practice. So I really wanted her to be able to share her insight with us as well. Chapters 3 and 4, good leaders ask great questions. Holy Moses, y'all, that is a lot of information in 2 chapters. But from here on out, we're just doing 1 chapter a week. Since we have 30 minutes, 1 chapter a week will be a little more doable in terms of discussion. So we will try to keep it narrowed down. And then I think for my intro is just I liked how he talked about the different listening, how are we listening? Internally focused, global, or is it internal listening? Is it focus listening or global listening? And he kind of defined those and told us more about that. So I think that's really good. And the biggest thing is like, are we listening to learn? Are we listening to respond? Or are we listening to show that we care? And it's very, very easy to listen to respond. Let me listen so that I can respond. Let me listen so I can respond. That's a really a easy trap to fall into. So, um, and then I will say the interrupting, what is that, page 52 or something? And if you guys know me, do I interrupt? And I, last time we read this, wrote ha ha in the margin. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm still working on that. I do think it's improved, but I know I just get so excited to be in this like back and forth that I'm like, oh, and it's truly, I do not mean it to be disrespectful or rude, but I know that it could totally be taken that way. So, um, and what I like he said is the problem is that interrupting translate what I have to say is more important than what you're saying. And I'm like, oh, daggers. So definitely good reflection there. So anyway, Yoshana, what did you want to share with us from chapter 3?
So I did mine a little different than probably what we typically do. But so basically, what I did is kind of write out the 11 questions and then just kind of how it pertained to us and our business and everything. So the questions are for like, what do I ask my team members? And he did say it's very important to be a great listener. It shows you value people and you learn a lot from them. So the first question, what do you think? This helps empower your team's voice, allows them to think independently. It's like great for the challenges that you have coming up, any product launches that are coming out, any new things going on for the month, asking for input from others. The number 2 question, how can I serve you? Shows support as a leader that you're not like a controlling boss over them, especially when they feel stuck. Um, so when you ask them, can I serve you? How can I serve you? Do you need help with your first post, with a 3-way chat, navigating the info in the Plexus Go app, things like that. The number 3 question, what do I need to communicate? That is great for like their monthly promos that come out, just making sure all your people underneath you know what's going on. And then like the challenge, like the April step and hydration challenge that we are in, just making sure you communicate that to everybody appropriately. Um, Things like convention coming up, making sure you're talking to everybody about that. Number 4, did we exceed expectations? So did we go above and beyond like our new VIPs experience, our new ambassadors experience? Did we exceed monthly goals, that type of thing? Number 5, what did you learn? So reflection after team calls, um, like a lot of growth happens there. Elizabeth was really good with me on that one. She did ask me a few times, like, what did you think of that team call? Like Fallon's call or Courtney's call, whoever. What did you think of that call? Tell me a couple points that jumped out at you, picked out. So learning is growing for sure. Number 6, did we add value to people? So this is a service business, obviously. Um, we want to we want to get it across like education and understanding, like Eric Worre always says, overselling. So just making sure people understand what we have between the products and the opportunity and educating them about it and meeting them where they're at. Number 7, how do we maximize this experience? So turning action into momentum, highlighting wins with people. Everybody does a great job posting when people get so many joins for the month, when they rank up, advancements, things like that. It definitely creates momentum having that. Number 8, what do I need to know from my team members? It just creates a safe space for them to have an honest conversation with you, and feedback. It just lets you know that you're there for them. You want to help them with any roadblocks they may have. Let's see. Number 9, how do we make the most of this opportunity? It encourages creative action from your people. You can do this in such a way, like creating reels about things, talking in our stories, reaching out to chicken listers. I've feared that a few times, but I have reached out to chicken listers, definitely. Number 10, how are the numbers? So we want to be aware of our points. If we have a rank up coming soon, what we need to do to get to that next rank, follow-ups, things like that. Another Eric Worre thing, this reminded me of was plan, do, review. He talks about making a plan, doing the plan, and then reviewing how it worked and tweaking it to make it better, or continue rolling with the punches there. And number 11, what am I missing? Invites feedback and insight from your team. He said, John Maxwell said, the fastest ways to connect with people are to ask questions and ask for help. And then, so for people that don't really have a team, like I don't really have a team yet under me. I have a couple people that have signed up people under them, but they're not really working it as a business. So this is just a way for me to look forward at what I need to do when my team starts to develop. But you can also use some of these questions with your VIPs and customers as well. So how can I serve you better in your gut health journey? Did you meet your health goals over the last month? Just maximizing their experience by celebrating any wins they have, any positive experiences they have. So that was my take on chapter 3.
I love that. And definitely the servant, being a servant leader really stood out to me too. And even just the simple question, like, is what do you need from me to be successful in this journey? You know, because someone might say, I need you to remind me to take my pink drink for the first week, you know, whatever, or I need ideas, or you just never know. You never know what kind of little encouragement somebody could need from the products. And then that is one of the questions I love on our coaching sheets, because it's like reflective, like, you know, I think, because I want to reflect on me being a leader, right? And so if I don't say, hey, what is it that I'm missing? And that kind of segues into, if I can find my messy notes, segues in like to it, to chapter 4, where he is saying, are you listening for the things you want to hear? Or are you listening for the things you don't want to hear, right? When we're asking for reflection, or we're asking for situational review, then we put ourselves in that vulnerable spot of potentially being criticized. Or maybe there's just a situation that comes up and someone needs to talk to us about, hey, maybe we should have handled it differently, right? Like, and it's not always easy to listen to that more critical voice, and not that the intent is ill at all, but just having to reflect in that manner too. It can't always be sunshine and rainbows, right? So anyway, I liked in chapter 4, you know, looking for blind spots, making sure we're addressing our blind spots, being aware of our blind spots, and doing the best that we can to work and improve those areas. My encouragement to you is just to not step out of your strength zones too, right? So it just depends what those blind spots are. My blind spot is getting too excited and interrupting. You know, it's not really a blind spot because I'm aware. And so I can reflect back on, okay, how am I doing with this or whatever. And my husband will tell me like, let people talk, let people, he'll remind me, and he's not trying to be a jerk. He's trying to like cue me to get out of that blind spot. Also in chat, he has the tools too to overcome those blind spots, which I really liked. So there's a whole chart that he has, like, but definitely assume that we have them, and talking to people that we know will be honest with us, right? And this is for your inner circle. This isn't for like, hey, I just signed up a new level 1 who I hardly know and I met her on Facebook, but I'm going to ask her about my blinds. Like, no, this is for, you can talk to your upline, you can talk to your people that know you well, right? You definitely keep that to your inner circle because we don't want to have a negative like culture either, right? If you're like, oh, what did I do wrong? And you're asking stuff like that, then it can be a negative culture. And just, not feeling bad that you might need to get some help to overcome those, and just then it allows us to feel more empowered to help others too. So I thought that was really good. He does talk a lot about like what makes us a sustainable leader, and it's being passionate and all those great things, having principles, practices. The other thing that I wanted to touch on in chapter 4, I mean, I'm really just skipping because I want to give you guys time to reflect too and talk and share, but the leading and getting away from leading in an emotional standpoint, but really to listen, making those decisions based on principles and values, not leading from this emotional thing. So a situation will happen. It could be something in PT world. It could be something with my kids. It could be something with my husband. It could be something in Plexus. And I am very emotional. If you know me in real life, I'm emotional, but I have this like, okay. And then I've really learned to just take a step back and go, all right, what does this mean? What do we need to do? This is just information. It's a situation. I don't want to make an emotional decision, right? And just learning how to step away for a minute. So I did really like how he touched on that. I like how he really talked about leading ourselves and having those high standards, having that high integrity, and having good character. And I like too that he just talked about if you don't have a lot of people cheering you on, you don't have this whole team. Like if you have one person supporting you and cheering you on, you're going to be in the right direction, right? Yoshana, you're like, I don't have a big team yet. It doesn't matter. Like we believe in you. We're excited to hear from you. Like we know that you know your stuff. We know that when someone's like, I'm ready for this business, you will know how to help them run, right? Because you're investing that time now. So anyway, those are kind of my scattered thoughts, but I'm trying to condense a lot of information into a short amount of time. And I think too, like we talk about recruiting, recruiting for the business, recruiting for the products, and he's talking about on page 98, bringing in solid people that we want to be around. And we see posts like this, the Jewels and Diamonds post this kind of thing all the time. If you're around 5 readers, you'll become the 6th. If you're around 5 coffee drinkers, you're going to become the 6th. If you're around 5 smokers, you're going to become the 6th. Like, who are you like surrounding yourself with in order to then build up that inner circle and that nice ground center of friends? So anyway, I thought that was all really good. And Ishana, I'm sure you have more organized thoughts than I do.
No, that was great, Elizabeth. Thank you. Yeah, some of the other things I liked, like he said about the first question, why does leading myself seem more difficult than leading others? I mean, no one's going to do it for you, obviously, so you have to have discipline with yourself to set your own accountability and routine and everything like that, setting office hours, doing reach out, because that's what moves the needle forward. Doing the non-negotiable things, and you just have to keep on top of that yourself. Because like I said, nobody's going to make you do it. So that's part of owning your own business. Let's see, the servanthood, everything like that, purpose, integrity, relationships, renewal, making sure you're refreshed and renewed each day as well, doing those things that help you refresh your soul, refresh your mind. reading the Bible is one of the things I do in the morning, first thing in the morning. Just talking with friends, hanging out with friends, things like that. So having those things in your lives are important too. Um, Another thing he said was like, how does one change one's heart to serve others? So shifting from that selling mindset to one of serving others. Again, it all comes down to that service standpoint. Um, just focusing on their journey and their story, not just outcomes for you and what it means to get another VIP or what it means to get another ambassador. Um, and then he said, if I'm reaching my goals, why develop as a leader? So we have to continuously grow ourselves in order to lead others, obviously. Um, Personal development books, the podcasts, trainings are all great for that. Coming to these book clubs, the team calls, everything like that. We just need to continually learn and grow. Leading with humility in a tough world that views it as weakness. So that could be a little rough as far as being vulnerable, humble. Sometimes it's viewed as weakness, but in this business, it actually helps inspire people when they see your struggles, they see you're a real person, they see you went through things that they're going through. So that's really important, I think. But like to the point Elizabeth made, don't like overshare really bad stuff or anything like that. We don't want to be negative, but just in a way it could touch somebody else's heart. And the other thing he said about having loneliness in leadership, he said there's a difference between loneliness and aloneness. Like I like being alone. Like my husband works from home, so if he's gone on my days off out on the road doing claims, I like being alone, getting more stuff done. I don't feel like I'm bugging him or anything. I can get more things done, so I'll come down to the basement, work on my plexus things or anything else around the house. But he said like loneliness, because network marketing can be kind of lonely when you're looking, at other people on the outside type of thing. They don't understand it necessarily. So just plugging into our team, our community is a great, great soul lifter and everything. So just keeping up with that. And he did say about filtering our emotions for better decisions. And I always remember what Eric Worre said too about never quitting on a bad day. We're all going to have bad days. So just never quit on that bad day. You'll get through that season. And yeah, love to hear what everybody else thinks too of these chapters.
The other thing I thought of with the whole like, if people just do what I say, everything would be fine. But then we're like not putting those same standards on ourselves, right? And a couple of things when I was a student or maybe just a newer PT, like a new PT, a therapist was like, I don't ask patients to do anything that I can't do. So like if it's an exercise, a core, like core stability, some of that stuff can be a little more challenging, right? And so I was like, oh, that's a good point. Like, why would I say, hey, patient, I have a big doctorate degree, so you just need to do what I say if I myself can't do it. So I thought that was a really like I've always kept that in the back of my mind in my practice. And I think it holds true to like this and it holds true to other areas in our life. Like, we can't say to a coworker, well, you should do this and this and this, even though we're afraid to do that, right? Like you want to put that stock into what you're saying. And I also think I was just talking to Jackie about this earlier, like we can so easily like you see a little snippet on Facebook and whatnot, and it's really easy to just like make a judgment, good or bad, make a judgment on these little snippets. We're really good at just like making judgments versus going, okay, that, and letting things go, good or bad, right? And focusing on how do I need to behave and act and represent and what's my integrity and character and all that. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting that he had said that too.
I was just going to chime in on that because I think that's an aspect of leadership in anything, like you said, Elizabeth, not just in your practice and not just in our Plexus business, but just leadership in general. And, you know, I found myself cleaning out a sink at school today. I'm the principal, but whatever, I can go clean out a sink, you know, and I think that when we do those things and we set that example for other people, that we are willing to do anything that we're going to ask them to do too, that just makes us a stronger leader. So it's just applicable like in everything we do. It's just it's a good perspective to take in everything we do. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a painting. Thankfully, it was a sink and not a toilet.
Trying to get my kid to turn down the TV over there. He's watching this movie and it's really loud. So I'm like, okay. Oh.
I guess I'll jump in and just say that again, just like our last book, I love, and I've wrote down the questions just to ask my team and myself. And I love too the aspect just of being a leader and being a parent. Um, I loved that question. I think he said you get the eye roll, like, how's your day at school? And they're like, ugh. But what did you love to start off with, and kind of what did you learn? I've already started to kind of use it on my 18-year-old, and she'll talk about love a lot, what she loves. Learn is still like, ugh, but I really love that. And I just love that these questions, like, I don't know who was just, Christy was just saying, it's so applicable to every aspect of our life. It's just, I don't know. I love it.
I did write that down too. You know, what did you love? What did you learn? And then he segues into adding value, you know, like adding value to people. And John Maxwell says in other books, if you're not adding value on purpose, then you are by default subtracting value. And so that always sticks in my mind. Like, what can I do to add value to this situation? Because it's easy to be negative. It's easy to go down those trains. It's, with the kids too, my oldest, y'all know she runs and I'm so proud of her. And in track in particular, where she's running and then done and then running and then done, but like she's middle distance. So she's like basically sprinting for 800 meters. And I'm like, so how do you feel? Like, yes, I kind of reflect on the race or whatever, like, good job. Like, how do you think you did? You did great. If she was ready to talk about it, if not, I'm trying to just be encouraging, but like, listen to your body. Like, what is your body telling you right now? Oh, your legs are burning. Okay, that's lactic acid. Let's rub them out. Let's jog a little bit. Are you hungry? No, I'm not hungry. And like, she gets this like literally like half dead. I just want to lay here. Her friend did it on last week, and I was like, somebody get her a banana, like whatever. I'm like, Ariana, take some bites. Like, I've seen this look before, and you're trying to be like, trying to get them to listen to their body. Like, okay, what do I feel? And then when I felt like this in the past and I did this and I felt better and I got this result, right? Because I'm not always going to be there. Like, she's in 11th grade, you guys. I want her to learn how to take care of her body and what she needs to do to recover. And I think that's just true in like so many things. Like, instead of just saying, okay, you need to eat, you need to drink some hydrate. Let's go do a jog, make sure you stretch. Like, me telling her, like, yeah, that's easy. It's super easy for me to just tell her what to do. But I want her to think, what do I need to do so she can recover on her own too, Um, so anyway, that just really goes into other areas too. Like, oh, somebody ignored you when you reached out. Oh, that's okay. But what did you say? Like, can I see the screenshot? Whatever, like, let me help you. And then he also talks about in these chapters, like, sometimes if you just get people talking, then they come to their own, like, oh, light bulb moment, right? If I would have done this, maybe it would have been better, or I could ask this, or I could go this direction next. And I think, I'm a big talker processor. If you know me, you know this. Talking things through, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this, thing. And everyone has a different processing style too. We got 4 minutes. That's like 2 more comments. I like in this book too, at the beginning of the chapter, he has like, you know, kind of like expecting this is our learning module, right? I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. This is reflective. And then there's one of those at every chapter, and just his boxes in this book are really like easy to refer back to, I think. So he mentions the out of control ego. I'm really glad that I don't think I've met too many people in this Plexus journey that have an out of control ego, so we can be thankful for that. All right, well, let me make sure I don't have anything else that was super, super, I don't know, earth shattering. I did mention it earlier, like he talks about character, integrity, things like that. And he says, character protects your talent. And isn't that the truth, right? Like you can be not the best, whatever, not the best PT, not the best teacher, not the best Plexus ambassador, but your character is what is going to speak very loudly in situations in real life and application. So I thought that was cool. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for getting on. And then we have our Inspire Co team call starting next. So check the chat for the new Zoom link. I love it, Kat. I don't know if I can do that, but it's like a weirdo shaped heart. All right. Have a good night, you guys. Thanks for getting on.